Here we are. Oh, we're live. Rachel, we're live.
We are.
Hi, everybody. Here we are, Dr. Julie Gilbert and Rachel Matthews,
Hello, everybody.
coming at you live, talking to you now. We've switched over to a new book, Talking Through Sleep Smarter. And what a great book. And what a great topic.
Such a great topic, an underrated, undervalued topic.
Oh, it is so true. Yeah, so true. Yeah, I'm thinking about my sleep quality last night. And
Did you have bad sleep last night? Okay, hold on. I think there's something in the air because I was up about every 45 minutes. My husband was, and my son came downstairs this morning and said, "What was with last night? I couldn't sleep at all. I was awake all night long." So I don't know if it's a full moon or what, but something's going on.
Okay.
I had
it reminds me of that song. I couldn't sleep at all last night. No. Yeah.
That's
I won't sing it. I won't sing it. Yeah. All right. So the way we're going to go through this book, we did an introduction last week, and then we're going to go chapter by chapter and just zoom in on the power tips. There are power tips at the end of every chapter. And so if you're reading along with us, we're going to just jump to the power tips and really talk through those. And remember, we're not giving any medical advice. If you have sleep problems, talk to your doctor. But we're just having a great conversation and hopefully, making people think, ask questions, wonder about their sleep. And it's just part of being a healthy person is sleeping well. So, and not many of us do it. I mean, the majority of people in America, I mean, that's over 50%, right? They don't sleep well, or they're taking something to make them go to sleep. Anyway, here we go, jumping into the power tip. Okay, start us off, Rachel.
Okay, power tip 1 is talking all about planning your sleep. He talks about thinking ahead of time in the same way you would a vacation. You schedule in your doctor's appointments. You're going to give blood on Thursday. You're going to get a haircut on Friday. You plan for all these things. And it's in our culture, it seems like planning for your sleep really is a strategy that, if used, would help to ensure that you get sleep, that you make it a priority. Because sleep, that's the first thing that goes when people are stressed for time, they're under a deadline at work, things are going weird. We give up on sleep.
We do. We burn the candle at both ends. We get up earlier, go to bed later. When we've got a big project or something going on, we steal. We steal sleep. So his suggestion, which I think is a very good one, is to think ahead.
Yes.
I've got this thing coming up, and but how can I keep my sleep priority a priority and still accomplish this other, so maybe you're taking away other time, because we only have 24 hours in the day. So maybe you're taking away time from, I don't know, let's say Facebook. Or maybe you skip a week of listening to Rachel and Dr. Gilbert. Maybe,
absolutely. Because the reality is, if you're adding something, let's say you're cruising along and your life is going pretty balanced. You're getting good sleep, good eat, whatever. The minute you add anything to your life, a stressful deadline, anything that adds, you have to take something away, or you will suffer the consequences of poor sleep, poor eating, higher stress levels.
So it kind of reminds me, exactly. It reminds me of that. There's a law of physics or thermodynamics about, you can't create or destroy. Well, time really, I know it's relative according to Albert Einstein, but really for practical reality, 24 hours a day, you can't add, you can't, you're not, that's all you got, 24 hours. Right. So to your point, when you add, you got to take something away. Yeah.
You got to take something away. And Benjamin Franklin here, he quotes Benjamin Franklin, by failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail.
Yeah.
So if you don't think ahead and plan ahead, it's going to catch up with you. And it's likely you're going to crash and burn in one way or another.
Right.
So we actually talk about this when we do the Sleep Smarter group. with Oregon Weight and Wellness with your patients, when we do the group coaching program, this is one of the books that we go through. And one of the tips that's been very helpful, a coaching tip, is you're planning ahead, you're thinking ahead, and then engineer backwards.
Oh, yeah, I like it.
Right. So let's say, tomorrow you have to be up by 5 a.m. Start there and build backwards.
Right. I love it. Yeah.
Isn't that great?
Yeah, that's great.
Isn't that great?
Yeah.
So if you say, okay, well, I need 7.5 or 8 hours. Okay. So now you go from 5 a.m., you subtract that 8 hours. Now where are you? And then you say, okay, and then I want to eat dinner by this time. Okay. Subtract those hours. And then I get home from work, and you build backwards so you can make sure to get everything in. And then you're really faced with the reality of time. Yeah. Right. I have a half an hour. Am I going to read? Am I going to Facebook? Am I going to just relax and stare at this, the moon? Like, what am I going to do? Right.
Very good. Very good. Very good. Okay. Yeah. It just really keeps it in perspective, and then keeps that sleep a priority. Right. Yeah. Right. Because even not sleeping well for one day can, mess up hormonal balance. I mean, obviously we have an amazing body that brings back balance. It loves homeostasis and does whatever it can to bring back that balance. Yeah. But we want to give it all the tools and, give it all the ability, to do that, to create that balance. Yeah.
Yes.
Right. So let's move on to power tip number 2.
Power tip number 2 is basically reframing your perception of sleep from I have to I get to.
Keep talking. I'm going to be right back.
Okay. It's an indulgence. So he says, start seeing it as a special treat for yourself and love the entire process. Start to think of sleep as an incredible indulgence, like a sensuous dessert, something you get to look forward to. And let go of the stress around sleep. That's a really big one. When we put sleep to a high value and we want to get better sleep, and we search for the sleep, it can kind of put it into a little bit of a stressful space where now we're nervous about getting enough sleep or nervous about getting it. So relax the stress around sleep.
Yeah, right. I know.
Yeah, that is a big, and I think he even talks about this again later in the book, because it's kind of a big thing. Something we want so bad can sometimes then therefore elude us and become a stressful thing.
Right.
But this power tip is basically reframing your perception. So how do you frame sleep for you? What's your perception of sleep? And what's your value of
exactly. Well, it has increased over the years. I mean, I look forward to going to bed. Yeah. I mean, my kids call me later in the evening, and 9 times out of 10, I'm already starting my routine. Yep. Yeah. And so that bedtime routine. So, I do. It has, for the most part, I mean, I'll be maybe a little later, I'll be a little bit more, transparent about couple of the things that trip me up, but yeah, I love to get to bed so that I can get up. I don't know. Yeah, I really enjoy sleep.
I agree with you. I'm there. It's an indulgence. I think of it as a gift. Like, I can't wait. It's kind of this quiet, private time where it's like I get to crawl into my bed, and like, it's for me, right? I know that sleep is for me. And I like what you said about I can't wait to get up the next day. I hit a wall. I'm not a night person anymore. I was when I was younger, or at least that's what I thought. But I'm not a night owl anymore. And right around 7 o'clock, my brain just kind of like, I don't have any more juice. I don't have any more creativity. I'm kind of out of ideas, and my eyes are tired, and my brain is done. And so now I can't wait to get to sleep so I can do what I want to do in the morning when I'm fresh again. And bright.
Exactly. Sorry, letting dogs out.
That's okay.
So that's exactly right. So I love that when you recognize and embrace, that your body's tired, your brain's tired. It's time to recharge, and the best way to do that is sleep. I mean, that's just absolutely, because if you don't, then your body's going to try to signal other ways to recharge. If I'm not giving my body what I need, which is sleep, then it's going to say, okay, we're not getting exactly what we need. So we're going to tell you to do some other things to give yourself energy. And 9 times out of 10, if I don't go to sleep when my body says it's time, I'm going to get hungry.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think we're going to cover that down the road.
We are. I think that's a fascinating correlation that people don't realize, that when you get the munchies at night, it's not just kind of, it's not a coincidence. There's a reason you're getting the munchies at night. There's a biological thing happening, and you can prevent that.
Yeah. And it's not munchies for broccoli.
No, it never is.
Never is.
Wow. No.
So sometimes you just got to go to bed. It's the most healthy thing that you can do, the most spiritual thing you can do. You just go to bed.
Yeah.
I do it for other people, because if I stay up past that time, I get a little grouchy.
Yeah. Yeah. It's kind of good to know what's your cutoff, right? Like, you got to cut me off here. I'm done. And we'll talk more about this in the book too, just the way that you organize, but we were talking about planning for it. And that also includes letting other people know when you will and will not be available. So I have my phone set to silence, and I think it starts at maybe 8:30 or 9. And unless you're in my emergency contact list, your text isn't going to get through, your email's not going to get through, and your phone call won't.
Yeah.
And
having
so
those healthy boundaries.
Yeah. And it sends a message to the person, Rachel has this on silence, or, something to that effect.
Oh, really?
So people know. Yeah.
Okay.
You can set
about that.
I don't think it's on email, but I think it's on text. If you have an iPhone, and probably any phone, it'll send a little message saying Rachel has silenced her notifications.
Wow. Okay. That's something I need to learn about. All right. Well, this is a great start to our discussion on sleep, and which I didn't get good quality last night, but and I'm trying to pay attention to that. So I'm going to definitely prioritize it tonight. And we're going to talk about what's for dinner. I'm continue to make some of that comfort food, in the healthiest way that I know, for a friend. So we're making meatloaf. That's her favorite dish, apparently. So we're doing meatloaf, and we're using grass-fed beef and all the seasonings, and I put eggs and oatmeal in there, and it's yummy meatloaf. And I'm going to serve that with some green beans. Green beans too. So that's and we're going to enjoy. We're going to sit at the table and just really enjoy that with her, eating slowly.
Yes. Wonderful.
So that's what's for dinner for us. Yeah.
Wonderful.
What about you, Rachel?
For dinner, so we're actually having my kids over and my dad over for dinner, and I found these 2 new recipes out of magazines, and I was tempted because they were so beautiful. So one is a roasted beet and potato arugula salad.
Wow.
With pine nuts. I know. It sounds decadent, but it's very simple, which I love. And then roasted summer squash curry coconut soup.
Ooh.
So, I've got all this summer squash from my garden. So this is really a great way to learn, to figure out how to use it.
Yeah. And I love curry.
I know. I love curry. I'm going to blend in some silken tofu into the soup to add that extra protein, but it blends in like a cream. It makes it more creamy. It's kind of a fun way of using tofu.
Never done that. Yeah. All right. Super. Well, thanks again for joining us. And we should say something like happy sleep or something like that.
Yes. Well, I do want to point out one thing you said that was so great, and that you said, and it's like, I want to rewind and just have people hear this again. You're aware today, and you're reminding me to be really mindful of the fact that we are sleep deprived today. So things might become more challenging. I might have more food cravings, or find myself more irritable, a little bit more brain fog. I'm going to get tired earlier tonight than I did last night. So being mindful and having grace and compassion for myself, but also being more aware, like, ooh, I'm a little sleep deprived, and this is why I'm seeing these things, right? So kind of capturing that, because otherwise sometimes we're not mindful of it. And
Right,
then
right. Yeah, we just
are,
run past it, and then like all of a sudden, well, oh, hey, what's going on here? Yeah.
right. Right. So I love that you said that. So we're gonna move through our day a little bit more mindfully, and then
Yes.
try to get to bed early tonight and kind of make up for it a little bit.
Yeah. Very good. Very good. All right. Well, thanks so much, Rachel. Have a great rest of your day.
Good night, sleep.
All right.
Bye, guys.
Yeah. Sleeping smarter. Yeah.
Sleep smarter.
Right. End.